Oh hey, how's it going? It's been a while. I haven't posted on this channel in a few weeks because there's just been a lot going on. As you could tell, I'm not in my studio anymore. So in this video, let's do a little story time, explain what's been going on. Also, I just want to have a chat about taking a step back and reevaluating your entire channel, everything that you're doing. Because if you're just constantly making content, just kind of going for it, you might go down the wrong path, all right? So essentially, December 1st, I moved. We found a new house that's gonna be better for the family and also has a bigger studio office for me. This is, well, my new space and it's an absolute mess. Let me give you a little tour. Gonna probably do some sort of gear closet over here. Right now you can see all my drones up there. It's a mess. Here's a station where I can work on my gear. See, I got my two FX6s ready to go for a client job that I have tomorrow. This was my stand-up desk. And you can see the tabletops over there. I never use it standing, so I switched it. Now, on my desk, I have my dual monitor setup. I've got all of the other stuff in a rack over here. I gotta figure out what to do with that, and it's just a mess. I've got a shelf. It's a mess. And a random corner full of gear. Ultimately, I want to get rid of all the extra gear that I don't really use and then build this out, make this really cool. Make this feel like a good space to come work in, a place that I want to come hang out. And this kind of came up quick. I wasn't anticipating spending the last few weeks just go, nonstop moving. But December 1st came and we went for like 5 days straight. It was just like go. We just moved the entire house and set up the entire house. If you go out to the rest of the house, it looks like we've lived here for like a year. It's crazy, like everything is moved in, except for my office. I haven't really touched that. Set up my desk so I could do some editing, but that's about it. Part of it is I don't know what to do with the space yet. Like there's a lot of opportunity here to do something. Because if you remember back when I had the darker studio, it's kind of a similar size. However, this one is actually a little bit bigger. So it's longer, it's a little wider, and I just have more room to build more of a set. But I definitely think one of the things I'm gonna do is start building more of a set and have not only a space to film, but a place to chill, a place to create content, and not be solely focused on like one angle. We'll talk about that in the future when I get into more of a video about this space, because I'm sure I'll dig into it. But I wanna have something that's feels good to come back to. But after we moved, I went straight into production for client jobs. I still do client work. And so we went into a 4-day production and I'm about to go into another production tomorrow. And we had another production before. It's been like crazy. I thought the holidays were gonna be like slow, get a bunch of videos out, but it ended up being the complete opposite. And I went and looked at my channel and I realized I haven't posted anything in a while. And I think this comes full circle to something I've kind of been feeling and something I've been thinking about more on the back end, which is just taking time away from the constant grind, the constant making videos, the constant just go. And really just reevaluating. One of the biggest things that's been on my mind for the last year has been the 2 channels that I have set up and figuring out a way to be able to post to both of them. You know, I've got my Jeven Dovey channel, which you're watching this on, and then I have my Explore with Jeven Dovey, which grew super fast. And it's exciting that I was able to build a channel in like a few months and get a second plaque, which is wild. But I think the biggest problem with this 2-channel strategy is kind of like the fracture approach to just making content. Like I'm thinking about both channels and I'm like, how do I make content for both? Because if I'm focused on this channel, making content, maybe making some shorts, doing all that, well, then I don't have the bandwidth to work on the other channel, unless I was to build a team, but that's not my intention. And if I was to start working on videos on the second channel, well, this channel would be kind of pushed aside and on the back burners. So what I found is just that when you have multiple things going on, your focus is split among all of these things. And it's not necessarily the best headspace to be for a creator. Now, if the only thing that you're doing is YouTube, well, maybe you could have 2 channels and be able to make it work and be able to post consistently. But I still do client work outside of YouTube. And I also run a nonprofit where We send filmmakers around the world to create films for other nonprofits for free. And that's now starting to ramp up in terms of time. And so I think the big problem that comes up with creators when we're on this journey of making content and like building our channels is that there's all these opportunities that pop up. And a lot of times we'll say yes. We'll be like, sure, that sounds great. We'll do that. And that sounds great. And oh, I have a great idea for a channel. So I'm going to start this and I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you have this huge range of things that you're doing and you end up like just spinning your wheels on all of them. I just realized I'm on auto white balance. But while you're making content, it's hard to like separate yourself, like take a step back and kind of look at the big picture. At the beginning of this year, I said my word for the year would be simplify. Now I do this thing, it's something that one of my friends showed me 2016. We just went and dug up the old video on this channel. But she told me about this idea of like setting an intention, a word every year. And since that party where we did this word intention thing, I've actually done this every year. And I've made a video beginning of every year where at the end of it, I set my intention for the year, for what I'm gonna do on this channel. And my word this year was simplify. I actually had to go back and take a look because I kind of forgot it. And I went and looked and I realized that has ultimately been my goal for this year. I've been wanting to try and find a way to simplify things. But then I kind of got caught up in the whole like rat race of YouTube and I was just like making lots of content and kind of just like spinning the wheels, making a ton of shorts and not really thinking about where my time was going. And so the last couple weeks have like forced me to step back, forced me to stop making videos and stop like sitting, editing, shooting, and like doing all that. And I've had a lot of time like in the car driving to different client jobs. And I've really started to think like, what is it that I want to do on this platform? And so as I've had time to kind of process this last year of making content, I've realized that I haven't really been simplifying my workload. I've actually been making it more complicated. And so I think this helps me make my decision on what I'm doing with my second channel. And ultimately like where I'm shifting my focus for also the kind of content I'm producing on this channel. And there was a tweet that popped up recently and it made me think about this. Let me pull up this tweet. And it's from this creator. Her name is Creating with Kea. And she was talking about like her priorities for 2025. And she had both a blog and a couple channels get monetized and like views were starting to pick up on all of it. And when I saw her situation, it made me kind of take a step back and look at what I'm doing because that's essentially the same problem that I have. It made me think like, there's just way too much going on. And what I responded to this tweet with was, well, what's your goal? Like, what is your intent with what you're doing? Like, with the bigger picture, not with each individual thing. And I think that's something that a lot of us need to take a step back and rethink. Like, what is our purpose for creating content? What is our goal? And like, what do we want to achieve? And something that's more singular, like what is something out there that you actually care about? And then you could start working your way backwards and figure out like, does this actually make sense to work on? Or does this make sense to work on? Honestly, like just making content here and then being able to focus on my nonprofit and client jobs on the other side of things, I want to simplify. I want to make it easier. I want to only do a handful of things, but put all of my effort into those things and really make them work well. And so something for you to take away from this is take a step back. You know, it doesn't take having to move houses and completely uproot your life to take a few days and actually just think through like, what is it that you're doing and what are your goals and what are the things that you should be doing right now to be pushing you towards those goals and what things should you not be doing. I think a lot of us could benefit from just taking this time and recentering our North Star, what we're doing. But I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on this. Also, what do you think of this footage? It's in my office that's terribly lit, but I am shooting on the new A1 Mark II in 8K, which is ridiculous. Do you have any questions about this camera? I'll probably do a video about it. Also, I bought a 42-inch OLED TV as my monitor solution here. LG OLED, it was like $1,000, but the sides turn green from your viewing angle. I don't know if I just got a bad monitor or if it's like, I don't know. I'm going back to my solution. I'm simplifying, going back to what I was originally doing. I'm gonna finish off this year with that being my word. So I have a few more videos this year that I'm working on getting out, a few sponsorships and a few other things, but I think next year is gonna be a completely different direction in terms of like what my goals are, and also like the kind of content, because I don't want to get in the rat race of just making content to grow a channel for views sake. Because if you do that, there's like certain levers that you can pull that will send you down a direction of making content you're not actually interested in. I think it's good to take this time to reframe, rethink, and also like I can't wait till the studio's built. I have some interesting ideas. I've been having some conversations with my ChatGPT, which my daughter named Holly, and she has been helping me ideate some different things, some different ways to explore this space. Yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this whole idea of like just taking a step back, regrounding yourself, and thinking through what your like goal is? And I highly suggest you check out this video right here. It's from my recent trip to the Philippines, where I worked on a film all about building a tennis court in the middle of the jungle. Pretty wild, and you should check that out. I'll see you over there.